what's good, Bills Mafia? It's Stevie Johnson, and you're in the sit down with my man Sauce God. Go Bills. Yo.
Freedom over fame. Freedom over cycle stays the same. Freedom over fame. Freedom over fame. The cycle stays the same. Freedom over fame. Freedom over fame. Freedom over fame. The cycle stays the same. Freedom over cycle stays the same.
And if you're just now tuning in, you're live here in the Sit Down, a sports entertainment show for Buffalo and all of Western New York, hosted by the Sauce God today with co-host the Modown. And if you're just tuning in, hit us with a like and a share. This show is presented by a multitude of sponsors that we have here in the Sit Down, right here on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. And as always, get ready for an entertaining show with Sauce God and Modown here in the Sit Down. Go Bills.
Freedom over fame. Freedom over fame. The cycle stays the same. Freedom over fame. Freedom over fame. Freedom over fame. The cycle stays the same. Freedom over.
Let's get this over with. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's simple, baby. Buffalo Bills football is heck, all right? And we tell you something.
I'm gonna crack a cold one because since it's a tailgate.
Ooh, ice cold, Mike. Let me tell you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are live here in the Sit Down with Sauce God, a sports and entertainment show.
I'm whipping the sauce, I'm tripping, of course, I want it all. All of my dogs be running with guard. Your mama, you're holding your pennies and bra. Cause when I get whipping the sauce, you taking it off. I'm dancing on tracks like stuff in the yard. We keeping it quiet, we moving the signs. But now we starting to riot, yeah. Keeping my eye on the prize. I got me a queen, we riding like Bonnie and Clyde. Trips to Dubai, the way I be blessing. I'm destined for changing my decimals. Decibels hitting the wave, I'm rapping incredible. Splitting their head like a cantaloupe edible. Got me so high, I'm touching the sky. Of course, I give it my all. I'm whipping the sauce, kicking the door. But then we been here before. She ain't involved, well, she ain't involved. Taking my shot, even if down, we tying the score. Do your dancing, now twist, don't stress, don't trip. Whipping sauce real quick, stay dripping, sipping on cognac. Roll tea in my veins, but you find that I'm whipping it, watch it get saucy.
How you doing it?
I'm twisting and mixing and shaking them haters right off me.
What you doing?
And you are live here in the Sit Down, a sports and entertainment show for all of Western New York. You already know Bills Mafia. It's the Sauce God at Buffalo Sauce God across all social media platforms. And your host, as always, here in the Sit Down, live normally on Friday nights at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you're following, liked, and subscribed with your notifications turned on so you don't ever miss the live versions of the Sit Down, which might pop up on a Tuesday, might pop up on a Thursday, might pop up on a Friday. But it's going to pop up, and you want to make sure that you're informed. But if you don't catch the live version of this show, it is available via audio podcast the following day. So join here with me today to discuss the Buffalo Bills 34-28 victory over the Arizona Cardinals is my guy, Jason Modown. How you doing this week, Modown?
Doing fantastic, man. Doing fantastic.
anytime that you have a victory Monday and then a victory Tuesday, per se, you know what I'm saying? It's always a good feeling. I know a lot of people out there were talking about the Bills didn't have that much of a statement win, right? Because this wasn't a good Arizona Cardinals team. But I have some insight for you guys out there in Bills Mafia that you do not want to miss in our offensive and defensive breakdowns, which will kind of give us a little bit of a clue as to what to expect from this Bills team going forward in the next 16 games that we have. Because right now we're 1-0, right? But it is a long season. So we're going to talk about some of the key playmakers. We're going to also show you guys at some point the Mowdown of the Week, which is brought to you part by Zuba716. That is the sports card and memorabilia store right there in Depew, correct?
Yes, sir. Zuba
And
Zone
I'll tell you what.
716.
Yeah, Zuba's, what is it? Zuba's
Zuba
shot?
Zone 716.
I don't know
Gotta
why
make it to the end zone.
remember.
The end zone. The end zone. Got the Zubas in the end zone and 716. We mashed it
That's
all
an easy
together,
one.
and that came Zuba Zone 716.
All right, I like that. So Zuba Zone 716, sports card and memorabilia store at Depew. And I've actually drove by it. It's really a nice store. And obviously, I know you got quite a bit going on there. We'll talk about that more in the show. But we also have to get to some of the good things and some of the bad things, the injury report, because we all heard about Josh Allen and Taron Johnson. We'll have some insight to that as well. But let's start off with our very first segment here, which is always on this day in sports history, which is September 10th today. So I'm just going to read a couple of these real fast for you guys. I don't really read these before. I like to just go right to the page and kind of just let's see what we find out together, right? Let's learn a little bit of history. The New York Mets sweep the Montreal Expos, putting them in first place for the very first time in the year of 1969. Afterwards, they would go on to suck for like 12 years or something like that, until they obviously had the Mets team in the 86 World Series, one of the greatest teams of all time. I don't really see too much here that's really got me like eye-popping. There's nothing that comes out. But here we go. Let's go for a boxing one. Muhammad Ali defeats Ken Norton on a 12-round split decision for a NABF heavyweight boxing title at the Forum Inglewood, California on this day in 1973. And, of course, we all know that Muhammad Ali, possibly, if not the greatest boxer of all time. I'd also put Rocky Marciano up there. I don't say that I'm biased because I'm Italian. New York Jets trade pro football leading receiver Don Maynard to Lewis on this day in 1973. I'm sure that a lot of people thought that was kind of a head-scratching move at that time. But so hey, we've got a hell of a show here planned for you guys. If you're live here and you just haven't already done so, do us a favor, hit that like and share. This is the Sit Down on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, presented by a variety of sponsors: Duff's Famous Wings, BuffaloSauceGuy.com, Big Tree Inn, Louis and Attica, and of course the Zuba Zone 716 sports card and memorabilia store. With my guy here, Mowdown. So we're going to go right up to the beginning of this. Let's get into the actual stuff about the meat and potatoes of the Buffalo Bills game. I mean, you look at some of the stats, it's not necessarily mind-blowing, Mowdown. It's not necessarily eye-popping numbers. Josh Allen didn't throw for over 300 yards. We didn't have a 100-yard rusher. We didn't have a 100-yard receiver. We didn't have a guy with more than, I think, 5 catches. But that didn't matter. We saw the ball spread around quite a bit. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in victory formation coming up here in just a few moments as well. But I'm going to go ahead and ramp up the stats for you guys. Normally, this would be Tyra doing this. But, hey, the Bills showed out. Josh spread the football around. He ended up with 4 touchdowns, and I think everybody would put him as the MVP of the game. But let's see. Keon Coleman with 4 catches, and I believe he had – let me get to it. I can't even read sometimes.
50 yards.
I think he had 51 yards.
Yeah.
Yep, Keon Coleman had 4 catches for 51 yards. He led with most receiving yards as well as the most catches. That's something that you want to see out of your first overall pick for your draft pick in this year's draft. You had James Cook, 19 carries for 71 yards. Josh Allen had himself 9 carries for 39 yards and 2 touchdowns. We all know the one that was a leaping touchdown, one of the better plays you'll see all week, and that's why people say he's overrated, right? Khalil Shakir had 3 catches for 42 yards, including a really nice 1 yard, not 1 yard. He had the touchdown that ended up being a really great play, and you might even see a clip of that here in the sit down as well ahead. I'm not going to give anybody any hints on that. James Cook also had 32 yards receiving on 3 catches out of the backfield as well. And let's throw in Matt Collins. 2 catches, 25 yards, and a touchdown. Dawson Knox also came forward with 1 catch, and that 1 catch netted him a total of 23 yards. I think the one that was the most surprising, though, was the 1 catch from Dalton Kincaid for 11 yards. But he was only targeted twice. All right, so we see that. Josh Allen finished the day 18 of 23, 232 yards passing, and 2 touchdowns to add to his 2 rushing touchdowns. So finishing with 4 touchdowns of the day. a 137.7 passer rating. And that's something that you want to see out of your quarterback in week 1. And he looked like he was comfortable. He only took 2 sacks, and that's something else to note. Let's talk a little bit about the defense. Obviously, we all know that Josh Allen did lose 1 fumble, and that was early in the game, and he did find a way to come back, and he didn't throw any interceptions. Everybody bitched about interceptions last year. But Dorian Williams had himself a fumble recovery, and that was a really key moment for us as well. Terrell Bernard led the way with 10 solo tackles, 11 total. Cam Lewis had 10 total tackles, 7 solo. And I'll tell you, Cam Lewis was wreaking havoc out there. I think that you'll agree with me. Dorian Williams had 8 total tackles, 5 solo. Greg Rousseau had 6 solo tackles, and 3 of those were sacks.
Big man, Greg.
Incredible stuff. And that's going to take us into our next segment here, ladies and gentlemen, of the Lowdown with Modown injury report. Modown, what is the latest on the Bills and their injuries that we saw from this past game?
Taron Johnson is going to be probably almost week to week, I would guess, day to day, week to week. They even sprinkled out their IR, to be honest with you. So we really don't know a timetable on him. Josh was really the only other one that suffered anything. That he injured himself, and from the looks of things, he should be all right to go. He was wearing a glove at practice. He's been a full go the last 2 days of practice, so all things going. I mean, that dude's the biggest beast in the league. Nothing's really going to stop that dude. You cut his hand off, he'll figure out a way.
I mean, he's dedicated. Obviously, everybody saw what happened with Josh, and he did come down on that hand really tough with his elbow. But thank God he didn't come down on the elbow of his throwing arm, obviously, and it is his non-throwing hand. I'm sure that he's obviously got some pain, but Josh is a tough guy. Whether it's actually a significant injury or not, we know he is good to go. That's good for us because we have ourselves a tough game coming up this Thursday night for Thursday Night Football against Miami. In Miami, which we've already talked about this before, how insanely clutch it is that it's early in the season, but it's a night game, okay? Because we all know what happened a couple years ago in the early part of the season. Playing in Miami in week 2 wasn't a good experience. But this year it'll be a little bit different. We'll be playing at night. So we'll talk about that later on in the show as well. But we're going to go ahead and carry you guys into the Sauce It Up Bills Weekly Highlights. And I've got you guys a video to play. All right, so after being down here, the Buffalo Bills are ready to put themselves in a position to have a nice return here. And we all know the kickoff rule is really different. And it's just kind of confusing. Everybody knows about the landing zone. But, hey, we have ourselves a nice return past the 50. Here's Josh Allen. He's going to hand it off to James Cook, who was pivotal for this game. He gets past the 50-yard line there with a nice carry for himself. And then we're also going to look again. He fakes it to James Cook, throws it over the middle to Dawson Knox for his 1 catch of the day, but that going for a good 23 yards, and that kept the Bills' drive alive right there, Modown. And I'll tell you, Josh looked comfortable. And he's going to take the snap here in the shotgun. He's going to have to run outside and throw across his body. And who does he find? Unreliable, who bounces off a tackler. And Khalil Shakir finds himself a nice gain to go with his 3 catches for 42 yards and that touchdown. And I'll tell you, Modown, Khalil Shakir was huge in this game. Let's take a look here. Josh is going to do it all himself. And because he's such an overrated player, he dives forward for a touchdown, right? Because he's so overrated. That's going to be the first of his 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. The Buffalo Bills are now putting themselves in a position to come back a little bit. They are down 17-10 at this point. And the Bills right now are going to take this next snap. Josh is going to look. He's going to have a face mask that doesn't get called there, but he looks, throws across his body again, finding his running back, James Cook, for a nice gain. At one point, James Cook was the leading receiver for the Buffalo Bills as the running back. I mean, this is a guy that does it all. He runs, he can do it. But hey, let's go back to him again. No, it's Ray Davis this time. The rookie getting himself a nice first down run here. And that was, he got a couple of touches in this game, Modown, and he made use of them. That's good to see out of your rookie running back, Ray Davis, out of Kentucky. And Josh is going to find himself his first passing touchdown of the day here to none other than his guy, Matt Collins. His first touchdown is a Buffalo Bill. A little surprising to see, but it was a nice throw. Josh delivered it perfectly. And there we go. Those are now tied 17-17. Kyler Murray goes down for a sack from who? Greg Rousseau. Greg Rousseau was huge in this game. He had 3 sacks, leading the way for Buffalo's defense. So now we have another Kyler Murray play. Looks, he's going to go down again for another sack, but this time it's a strip sack. Fumble recovered by Dorian Williams, and that was forced by Greg Rousseau. Greg Rousseau was an absolute terror in this game. Absolute terror. I mean, if you don't tell me that Josh is MVP of this game, you got to say that Greg Rousseau maybe earns the 3 sacks on the day, including that. It slowed Kyler Murray down to the boys. So here we go. Josh is going to take the snap here and look to Khalil Shakir for a screen pass. And this one, he looks like he's going to get tackled, but he rolls over. And there was a key block that you guys might see in another segment here coming up here in the sit down. So Josh is going to take the snap here. He looks down the field, and this is rookie receiver Keon Coleman. Why did you get this guy? Because he's 6'4", fucking huge, and he put that ball up there where he could go muscle it and get it. That's what you want to see from your fucking draft pick.
Amazing
Keon
catch.
Coleman.
Amazing
I love that.
catch.
Got me fired up. And Josh is going to look again after being set up from that nice catch. He's going to jump over because he's overrated, right? He's overrated. Right. Okay. He looks at himself, brushes it off. He might have hurt his hand on that play, but he didn't give a shit at that moment. 4 touchdowns on the day for Josh Allen. QB1. He is not overrated. You guys already know that Josh is ready to go. And the final play of the game here, Kyler Murray is going to look and get sacked again. This actually is not the final play, but that's a Von Miller sack right there. Von Miller earning himself a sack in this game was nice to see as well, Modown. So that's going to do it for Sauce It Up Weekly Highlights right here in the sit down. That's presented by Big Tree Inn. And this is live on Facebook and YouTube right now. If you haven't already done so, hit us with a like and a share. Join us in the comment section. It's myself and Modown. So Modown, we saw some of the highlights there, buddy. But we are going to play a little video because it's going to be the debut of the actually, no, we're going to go to you know what? We're going to go right to the Modown of the week. We're going to go right to it. So here we go. I got the Modown hits, and then I'm going to play we'll play a little video for you guys after that as well. Yes, the Modowns of the week here in the sit down is presented by Zuba Zone 716 Sports Card and Memorabilia Store. Take it away, brother. We're going to play this video for you.
All right, man. I mean, this was definitely a clincher on the game. Here you go. You get the snowman with the snow plow. It just flattens the guy. And Shakir kind of takes it from there. It was fantastic.
That was a key block. I mean, he lit his ass up, dude. He lit his ass
block. And then you see as Shakir's laying on top of the dude's like mad that he's laying on him, so he like throws him off and pretty much throws him into the end zone. It was fantastic when they show that side angle from the end zone.
And it's something that you want to see out of a left tackle that you just extended, and also to go paired with your right tackle that you just extended in Spencer Brown. And so, hey, still ahead in the sit down, we have the pain trains. We also have victory formation, everything that you guys need to know about what the Bills defense did right, what the Bills offense did right, and what we can expect from them going forward, because this is a long season. And it's a season in which the AFC East current favorites until today, I believe it changed, was the New Jersey Jets, right? But we have seen some things from both teams now. We've seen some things from Miami, and we've seen some things from the Patriots. So we have to take a little bit of a look at the division going forward, because this is going to be a long season, ladies and gentlemen, but we are 1-0, and that's exactly what I like to see. So let's go right into our next segment here in the sit down. It's going to be the Pain Trains defensive breakdown with myself and my guy, Modown. Modown, defensively, I thought the Bills played a great game, because I was expecting to see some Marvin Harrison Jr., and he had one catch. He didn't get a chance.
He was non-existent.
The Bills defense really did the most. What was it that they did right, especially being down 17-3 at some point?
Obviously, containing Kyler Murray, I think, is really what became the issue. He was really extending the plays through that first half and really kind of doing it. He was spreading the ball around nicely himself, and the run game, dude. Connor was all over us. He was running like crazy on us. So I think definitely just tightened up the whole defense as a whole, really.
I honestly thought the way that we got to the quarterback was huge. I mean, really, people say that we were going to take a little bit of a setback because our secondary lost so much. I mean, we lost our 2 starting safeties, Tre'Davious White, and obviously there's just a lot that goes into losing such key players, especially core players like that, right?
Oh, definitely.
But we saw such good pressure that Kyler Murray didn't have sufficient time. But we also did a good job containing it, because I think people, Modown, forget to remember all the people that said, oh, it's the Cardinals, they suck. They failed to remember that Kyler Murray was a MVP candidate for a couple seasons there. I mean, he was legit. We all remember Hail Murray, which thank God that didn't happen, being down 6 points at the fucking end of the game.
They made sure to remind us.
Don't do it. But
they reminded us.
people really fail to remember, Modown, that Kyler Murray is a good quarterback, and now you have a revamped defense, and you have a revamped offense, and you have a different kind of outlook with their new head coach.
Yeah.
So the Cardinals may not be exactly a great team per se, but I don't think that they're a scrub team. I think Kyler Murray is a dangerous quarterback to play against no matter what, because he can pass. We know, we've seen him do it. He might not be consistent. He might be small, but he also can run like hell. And we did a great job containing him. So I liked what I saw there. I also liked what I saw out of our secondary. I thought that they weren't too handsy. I thought Taylor Rapp really did a good job of getting his hands up on plays and just not committing the penalties. We played a pretty clean game from being down 17-3 to kind of come back there, Modown. And I thought, obviously at points we're losing 17-3. You're going to have that kind of outlook that this isn't good and this is not how we want to start. And people will say same old Bills. No, I actually felt confident.
I wasn't worried. Yeah, I wasn't worried either, man. It's again, hanging out with everybody. It's like, how's this coming? I'm like, man, we're going to catch one before the end of the half. We get it to start the half. Offense was looking good. It was just a matter of the defense slowing them down. But again, Josh giving it up only is really, what put them ahead of the game at that point, and getting them the field goal after the turnover. It was just fluky stuff, but we didn't look bad out there. So there was no reason to worry about it, man. For sure.
I thought Tyler Bass also committed. He did his job.
Great.
And I know a lot of people are always going to think about the playoffs last year, but they fail to remember that Tyler Bass he's done his job for so many seasons. He performed his job very well. Overall, I thought I saw people doing their job, is what I'm saying on defense.
Yep.
We're going to talk a little bit about offense too, because I thought offensively there was a lot of good things to take away from this team, especially after losing Stephon Diggs, who did have 2 touchdowns in his debut with Houston. So let's go ahead. Let's get into the victory formation offensive breakdown. Myself, the Sauce God, and Modown. The sit down is presented by BuffaloSauceGod.com, Duff Swings, and Big Tree Inn in Louis Barn, Attica, and also the Zuba Zone 716 Sports Card and Memorabilia Store. If you haven't already done so, do us a favor, hit that like and share, and join us here in the comments section. Make sure you're following, liked, and subscribed with your notifications turned on so you don't miss the live versions of the sit down or any updates for your beloved Buffalo Bills, Buffalo Sabres, and all things Western New York and chicken wings right here in the sit down and on my Facebook and YouTube at Buffalo Sauce Guys. So myself, I know I'm fucking. After I said chicken wings, I fucked myself, dude. You know what I mean? Now I'm gonna be sitting here thinking about wings nonstop. Speaking of, I think next Monday, Modown, I'm gonna be taking a little trip over to Danny's in Orchard Park, and I don't know if you've ever had Danny's.
I do actually. I know one of the bartenders over there and stuff. Yeah, the place is great. I've been going there. Honestly, it was before it was even Danny's. This place has been a go-to.
I honestly have never been, Modown. It's gonna be a first-time experience.
Oh, it's a great little place.
I mean, I know it's 10-cent wings, and that right there is like, I gotta go to Danny's. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
gotta buy 2 beers. It's a two drink minimum, and then you get 10 wings for 10 cents a piece.
I'm gonna do that regardless. You know
exactly right.
So like, boom. That's fine. As long as they're not $20 beers, you know what I'm saying?
No, man, it's the same as every place, and a lot of the places around here do the same thing. Your blue cheese is extra, your carrots and your celery are extra, but obviously the meat and potato there, the wings themselves for $1, 10 wings for $1, dude. It's you can't beat it with a stick.
Still ahead in the show too, by the way. I'm going to reveal the most chicken wings that I've ever eaten. I don't know if I've ever actually said that here in the sit down.
In a sitting.
In one sitting, and it was when I was 12 years old, but I'll reveal that ahead. So let's talk about the victory formation, the offensive breakdown. Overall, Modown, what was the thing that you loved most about the Bills offense on Sunday?
The thing that I've been preaching the most to anybody that's been scared, distribution. I knew that's how it was going to be. We don't have a superstar that's craving the ball. We don't have another guy. We got to try to hopefully feed in the Gabe and stuff. I knew he was going to spread the ball. We had more weapons than he could ever have hoped for. And that's really what it was meant to be. And that's what he did. He had 7-8 different players. Everybody had over 10 yards apiece. I mean, that was a complete game. I mean, from top to bottom, it was fantastic.
It reminded me a lot of a quarterback that I don't like to talk about, but Tom Brady, because Tom Brady used to spread the ball around quite a bit.
Because he never had a superstar.
8 to 9 pass catchers in a game. That's what you want to see. You're spreading the ball. Not only did they run the football effectively, we saw James Cook run with efficiency and able to help continue drives. We saw Ray Davis step in and Josh obviously doing his thing. But Joe Brady showed me, again, a little bit of genius. Everybody in the world has been talking about how Dalton Kincaid is going to be the Bills' #1 targeted receiver in this year. And he's targeted twice, and one of those is a catch for 11 yards. Okay,
Right.
so it's just crazy to think that I knew that they were going to use Khalil Shakir. I did because he right now is in my opinion the guy that's got the most rhythm. Dalton Kincaid he's Mr. Consistency in my opinion, but Khalil Shakir has that rhythm. But they found a way to get the football to Keon Coleman early. Then you throw up that beautiful long pass where he can go up there and get it and give
That was
him a chance
perfect.
to really get some confidence.
That's what
Joe
we needed
Brady,
him for.
he's doing his job. Joe
It's
Brady,
great.
I have to say hats off to you. Thank you for calling a great game. And I love what right now the Buffalo Bills are doing. I think they are looking more efficient. They are looking like a well-oiled machine. I know it's week 1. It's the Arizona Cardinals. It's not necessarily a divisional game, but I like to see that out of week 1, especially in recent years where we've seen them stagnant in week 1 and kind of come out flat and have no sort of identity. This week, it was all about spreading the wealth, letting your defense do its job, and just trying to put points on the board. Down 17-3, we showed a lot of resiliency. And like you said, you weren't nervous. I wasn't nervous.
Nope.
What do you think? We get that 17-10. You knew that we were going to come out with a touchdown in the second half?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
I
it had to
definitely
be.
think I saw that too, but it just like the way that we got these touchdowns were beautiful too. I mean, obviously you have Matt Collins, who it's like, wow, Matt Collins getting a touchdown. Okay, this guy really can play. And he reminded me a little bit of a Gabe Davis, not just because he's wearing 13, but like a little bit of what he could do. And obviously we know Matt Collins is a really light guy in Bills Mafia right now.
I was a
But
little surprised to not see Curtis Samuel too much.
But I think that, again, he was kind of hurt. We didn't know if we were going to necessarily see him or MVS.
Right.
I did like that we took a shot downfield to MVS, even though he didn't get it. It's good to see that Josh is trying to utilize his weapons in the best of ways. And he's just confident. He looked comfortable. Let's talk a little bit more about that. Josh Allen only took 2 sacks. He did have to play some hero ball, but that's what he's there for. I mean, you're telling me that Patrick Mahomes doesn't play hero ball? Yeah, he does.
Of course he does. Yeah. They all have to, man. That's how they become superstars.
What do you think was the biggest thing you saw for Josh starting off this year, as he is now a veteran on this team and the leader of this team?
Being just that, dude. Being the leader. Obviously leading these guys. He didn't sweat nothing. We're down. 2 touchdowns here, guys. They ain't nothing. Just jump on. Here we go. That's it. I'm going to distribute it to everybody. You're open. Let's move it. Let's just work the game. That was it. Again, it had started off that way until he lost the ball. So I'm sure at that point he kicked himself in the ass and was like, obviously I got to be freaking smarter. He should have just threw the ball away. And who knows? It could have been a completely different game at that point. Had he not lost the ball at that point, dude, who knows where it would have went. We would have been coming down. It could have been 10-10 at that point. And who knows, right? But definitely he just took the reins. And Josh did Josh things. Did what he's supposed to do.
So still ahead in the show, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Stirring of the Sauce. We have Getting Saucy. We also have ourselves our fan comments and questions and answers. If you guys have anything else to add into the sit down right now, we'd appreciate all your comments. We appreciate the likes and shares. And also ahead to is Bada Bing, which will be the best thing that we heard in the entire show. So stay tuned here with us in the sit down on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, right here in the sit down, your sports and entertainment show. So we already went through the Modowns of the week. We're going to talk about the game book MVP of the game. Modown, I'll let you take this one first. You could say Josh. You could tell me somebody else. Who's your pick for the game book MVP of the week?
It's honest to God. Well, I'll go with one from offense and defense because it's my two guys for the game, man, or for the team. Josh obviously is. It's hard to tell. It's hard to say that he's not. I mean, dude just killed it. He took the ball.
I think I just lost Modown. I did lose Modown. Oh, you're back.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Was
of course, the phone call wants to come in while we're in the middle of this. Can you hear me? Am I good?
I can hear you just fine.
All right. So, yeah, anyways. So, Josh on the offensive side, hard to not give him that. And, again, I've been a Russo fan since the jump. Did his first ever signing at the store, or hosted his first ever event, dude. So, I'm all about Groot, man. He definitely was looking like he was going to do something through preseason. So, obviously, stepping into the first game, kid was amazing. I can only hope that happens. Obviously, to converse that, hopefully that'll free up Vaughn. I know that was kind of a little, easy sack that Vaughn got credit for. It is what it is. I don't care.
But Vaughn made his way. He was
did. He
actually
looked all
really
right.
causing a lot of havoc.
He looked all right, but definitely Groot on defense, Allen on offense all day.
I just overall, man, I really think that the evolution of Greg Rousseau into what he has right now, and AJ Epinesa into what he is now, and Von Miller getting kind of back to the way he is, this Bills defense is still scary in my opinion. I know that we have a long season, and again, I understand people say it's just the Cardinals, but Kyler Murray is a weapon. Marvin Harrison Jr. might not have looked like it, but he is a weapon. All right. I'm not, no one should say that this kid is a bust right now, because I'm telling you, I watched this kid play college ball. I watched his dad play in the NFL. This kid can play. They didn't target him very much, but that's because the Bills had a safety over top, and they basically tried to take him away the entire game. And that's what you want to see. I liked what I saw from Bobby Babbage. Overall, though, my game book MVP of the game, brother, is going to be Joe Brady. And Joe Brady, I really thought designed a great set of play calls. Down 17-3, wasn't afraid to still go back to the run. And he wasn't trying to just go for the fucking big play. It was all about making your reads, finding the guy that's open, picking up the necessary yardage, securing the football, and not turning it over. One offensive turnover for the day, great. Spreading the wealth all around for the receivers and the running backs, great. Josh Allen gets 4 touchdowns, great. That's because they played well as a team. The offensive line did their job, but Joe Brady called a great game, so that's my pick for the game book MVP of the game. So we're going to go into our next segment of the Stirring the Sauce, and I'm going to just tell you about any negatives and any haters out there right now. And again, I'm going to go back to this whole comment that Josh was voted the most overrated player in the NFL. I don't think people have necessarily, unless you are Bills Mafia or you like Josh Allen, which there are people that aren't Bills fans, but they like Josh Allen, you don't know how tough this fucking kid is. This kid has played through countless injuries. Ever since his rookie year, he hasn't missed a game. All right. And he's played through a lot of injuries. And you wouldn't know it because he's tough as nails, and he always shows up and he gives you his all. Josh Allen can do it all. He might make some bonehead plays. Yes, he did have a fumble, but he took care of the football, and he started off the game efficient passing-wise. I think he started off the game 9 for 9. Finishes 18 of 23. That's only 5 incompletions. So that tells me, along with only 2 sacks, the guy is only learning how to be more efficient. And now that we don't have Stephon Diggs, now that he's gone, okay, because I understand he had 2 touchdowns. I understand the Houston Texans won by 2 points to the Indianapolis Colts. It just doesn't matter. Josh Allen is that guy, and he is him, and he does this for Bills Mafia game in and game out. So anybody that's got anything negative to say about JA17, QB1, could just straight up hit rocks. Kick rocks, whatever the fuck you want to do, because I don't want your shit around here. That's me stirring the sauce this week. So, Modown, basically, we are ready to play against the Miami Dolphins on Thursday.
Oof.
We talked a little bit earlier about the actual outlook of the AFC East. The Jets lost last night to the 49ers. Aaron Rodgers did not look good. He looked all right at times, a little bit flashes of his old self, but overall, it's just crazy how much talent's on that Jets team, and they just do not seem to be able to have it in them. And that's without Christian McCaffrey playing for the 49ers, even though they had Jordan Mason, who was an absolute beast. The Miami Dolphins did win against the Jags. The Patriots beat the Bengals, which was obviously a shocker. I think that game, though, Modown, was a little bit more because of the distractions in Cincinnati. First, you have the T. Higgins situation, then the Jamar Chase situation.
Right.
Joe Burrow got paid last year. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of things going into that. What do you feel going into this game against Miami? How do you feel about our team against their team? Because obviously they did find a way to pull out a victory, 20-17 against the Jags.
I'm feeling okay. Obviously the scare. I'm not worried about their defense. I know we'll be able to put up our points. Hopefully we can keep them off the scoreboard is going to be the biggest thing. But again, I'm not overly impressed. They had a shit ton of yards. They only put up 20 points on the board. And again, Tyreek got loose. Again, you got to try to contain him, obviously. But the dude got one good pass, made a good play. And other than that, like there really wasn't a whole lot. Their running backs are hurt. So that's going to help, obviously. So again, if we can focus on that mid-tier to the secondary and shut them down, I think, again, our defensive line is our strong point. They'll get to 2, and dude might be throwing up gang signs.
And my take on that game, I'll give you guys here in just a little bit here in the Sit Down, a sports entertainment show for all of Western New York and everything for your beloved Buffalo Bills and your Buffalo Sabres and all things Western New York chicken wings, as we said before. Here with Sauce God at Buffalo Sauce God across the social media platforms, and my guy Modown, the head honcho over there, the Zuba Zone 716 sports card and memorabilia store right there in Depew, New York, and also one of the proud sponsors of this show. And along with the Beat Tree Inn, Duff's and Swings, BuffaloSauceGuy.com, and Louis Bar in Attica, proud sponsors of the Sit Down right here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live on Fridays, normally at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to soon have a pregame show, the tailgate for you guys in the Sit Down, coming up in the next few games here. So make sure you are liked, following, subscribe with those notifications turned on so you don't miss the live versions of the Sit Down. But if you do miss this live version of the Sit Down, it is available via audio podcast the following day, wherever you may get your podcast from. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here in the Sit Down, myself and my guy Modown, and I got a little bit of a segment for you guys that is coming back into the Sit Down that I think you guys will enjoy, the weakest link. All the time that I see Mac Jones literally get lit up, it just gets me exactly so happy. I know he's a Jaguar now, but that motherfucker thinks he is a Patriot still, so fuck him. The weakest link this week is going to be a segment that myself and Modown would have, maybe as some of the funniest plays, maybe just who was the worst player, who just didn't have an impact for their team whatsoever. Modown, my pick for the weakest link this week is and I hate to say it because I love the kid, I love Ohio State football, Marvin Harrison Jr. He did not show that he was the number one overall receiver picked in the draft this year. And he did not show us anything that we expected to see. And yes, it is week one, and he played against, I think, a much better defense than people are really realizing. Yes, but again, hey, you want to see your number one playmaker that you draft, and who's supposed to come out and make a big difference. The guy that I honestly want the Bills to maybe try to trade up and go get, right? But he just didn't show up. So, Modown, who's your pick for this week's weakest link?
I would agree, at least on that side of the ball. Yeah, definitely. He was, man. I was really looking forward to seeing something out of him, even though it's our team. I really wanted him to have a decent game and kind of see what the kid was all about. I never really watched it much. I don't watch college as much. So I was excited to see what dude was going to bring to the table. So, but I was also then excited to see that we kind of shut his ass down.
Exactly. I thought overall, hey, we were able to contain Kyler Murray the best way because he looked like he had some rhythm. He did. He looked more like 20.
He looked good. Kyler Murray. He really looked good, man. He looked back to form. He was, moving around real good. He was dangerous on the ground. I mean, he definitely looked like he's back into form. I'll give him that. James
Conner's a tough player too. I mean, he's been he's been a consistent running back over the years for the Steelers and of course the Arizona Cardinals as well. I think overall, man, the weakest link, Marvin Harrison Jr., but also the play calling of the Cardinals. I mean, it was like 3rd and 6, and you're down. You got to have it. And they fucking run like a running back draw, like to the left out of the shotgun. Like, what? Right. That's not going to get it done, guy. This isn't Leroy football where we run, and punt the football. I mean, that's right.
Well, they thought we were good. They could have had it. Our run defense wasn't doing all that good, man, until that second half. So he thought maybe he had a chance.
Exactly. But hey, that's going to bring us into our next segment here, which is presented by Duff's Famous Wings of Getting Saucy right here in the Sit Down with myself, the Sauce God, and Modown. And this week, Modown, I'm going to let you kind of join in the Getting Saucy. You can kind of get us a little fired up and get us ready and hyped up for the upcoming game against Miami in Miami for Thursday Night Football. So let's play this video and let's get to Getting Saucy.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Ice cold, nice, refreshing Labatt Blue on a fierce storm behind J817.
It's a cold front, is what that is.
I'm fired up this week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get you fired up. Bills Mafia, you want to hear me getting saucy this week? It's simple. Mac Jones and the New England Patriots, and also, too, the Miami Dolphins, and anybody that's got anything bad to say. Bills by a billion, baby. Let's go. Let's go, Bills. I'm fired up. Week 1, we're 1-0. Now we're going into week 2. And we got to head over there to fucking Cocaineville in Miami, Florida with Mike McDaniel sniffing and chucking and all that nonsense. Tyreek Hill getting detained before the fucking game. I mean, holy fuck, what's going on over there in Miami? Well, I'll tell you something. You're bringing a little bit of the Buffalo blue cheese, Buffalo Bills, a little bit of Frank's Red Hot fucking lemon pepper on that shit Buffalo Bills down to Miami, Florida, so they can go ahead and visit Josh Allen's kids, all of his sons. You know what I mean? They're all on that wonderful squad that Josh Allen is just fathered to every single year, right? Because we all know that he's only lost 2 games in his whole entire fucking career to the Miami Dolphins. One of them being Charles Clay's fault in his rookie season when everyone's like, Josh Allen ain't that good. But turns out he is good. And turns out Charles Clay was just not a really good tight end for us. And he dropped the game when he passed. And then we all know the Heat game. You know, we're in Miami to play the Dolphins, not the Miami Heat. But no, we got fucking drained out by the fucking nonsense and all the dehydration. That was not a fair game, but Josh Allen has won the games that mattered. He's gotten us into the playoffs. He's gotten us the AFC East titles, and he has willed us to first place in the games that matter the most against the Miami Dolphins, all of his kids. That's me getting saucy right here, presented by Duff Smith Wings in the sit-down. Myself, the sauce guy. Mo down, take it over, brother.
What do you want me to say here? I mean, I'm super pumped about this game. I think we're going to shut them down, man. I know Josh is going to bring it again. He loves going down there. He's always got something to prove. Again, this is his place. He owns it. He owns this team. If there's any team in there that he does, that's the team. He owns the Dolphins. I think our defense is going to crush Tua. We're going to blast through these dudes, and we're going to light them up. Again, we saw what we did to him last year. What really changed that would be different from the ass kicking that we laid on him last year? So I could do it again. Like, there's nothing that says we're not going to do that again.
I love it. So Mo down getting saucy with us right here and presented by Duff Smith Wings. Remember, you don't have to ask for them extra crispy. They always come that way. If you go to the original and share the drive, tell Joe Duff the sauce God sent you. And remember that medium is hot. Okay? I don't want nobody complaining about I order hot and I order their hot and now you couldn't eat them. Believe me, their hot is fucking hot. Okay? And of course, Mo down, I appreciate you getting saucy with me. We're going to play this final segment video of the best thing that we heard in the entire show with Bada Bing, presented by BuffaloSauceGuy.com.
This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away. You got to get them close like this. Bada bing! Bada bing!
Bada bing, bada boom, you chidrus. Mamma mia, what a nice play. Let me tell you something. So for ourselves, bada bing, Modon, I think the best thing that I heard in the entire show was actually before the show. When you and I were laughing a little bit about me not playing the music in the background for the entire fucking show. You know what I'm saying? That was probably the thing that kind of got me hyped up the most. What was the best thing you heard in the show, brother?
Efficiency, my friend. Josh Allen and his efficiency, distribution, fully executing what we have been talking about, what I've been preaching to everybody that's been worried. Yeah. Efficiency, distribution. It was on point. We need to see it from here out. That's going to be the way. That's going to be the way that this team is going to defeat everybody else.
Yep. So I'm saying wing and yang, because a little pun to the, wings of Buffalo. It's just all about balance. You know what I'm saying? And balance for this Buffalo Bills offense is pivotal, and also defensively. You want to see your secondary doing its job. You want to see the defensive line creating pressure. And you want to see your linebackers making tackles. Terrell Bernard was everywhere. Our defensive line got pressure, and our secondary did its job. And we stayed and played a clean game at home against the Arizona Cardinals, defeating them 34-28 in week 1. That's going to do us for us right here in the Sit Down, a sports and entertainment show right here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and available via audio podcast wherever you may get your podcasts. Ladies and gentlemen, myself, the Sauce God at Buffalo Sauce God, with my guy here, Mo Down, the head honcho over at the Zuba Zone 716 Sports Card and Memorabilia Store in Depew, New York. So everybody, we appreciate you all. God bless. Join us on Thursday night as we are going to be Mo Down, if we can. We got to go live, give these people a little pregame show. I think so. So we'll be live probably about 6:30 p.m. Eastern time for all you guys right here in the Sit Down, and back at it on Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time right here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, at Buffalo Sauce God, and on audio podcasts wherever you may get your podcasts. God bless everybody. Stand tall, bolster up, and all you chidrus, bada bing, go Bills.
Go Bills.